Ever wonder what it would be like if RoboCop was about busty ladies and not Peter Weller with a bucket on his head? Well, wonder no more. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, and today we're tackling Jamie Luck's Category 3 classic, Robotrix. Released in 1991, Robotrix feels more like a fever dream than a movie. It's part RoboCop, part Terminator, part Cinemax After Dark softcore movie, and exactly the kind of film that made people fans of Hong Kong's Category 3 films. If you're not familiar with the term, Category 3 is a rating level, equivalent to a hard R or NC-17 here in America. The Cat 3 films were often sexy, violent, and disturbing, all at the same time. But enough about that. Can the ladies of Robotrix blast their way to a 5 barf bag rating? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, today's video is sponsored by patrons Chelsea Golish. Hope I didn't mangle your last name, Chelsea. Willie J, who immediately made me think of Ghetto Boys member Willie D, and Cal Rosa. If you'd like to help sponsor some videos and free me from the shackles of YouTube's tyranny, which is getting worse by the week, you'll find a link to my Patreon in the pinned comments and description below. And now, let's get bloody. We fade in on the title card. Glad we're not wasting any time here. Robotrix is like, got no time to mess around, we got ass kicking to get to. Man, it's so cloudy out here, this skyscraper looks more like a high scraper. This boat is a real hunk of junk. What? That's what they call this kind of boat. I will say it was a bold move by director Jamie Luck to just put the credits over his vacation movies. Also, listen to this rockin' theme song. Inside, Caligula makes his way to the public bath. A whole lot of boobs in this movie already. Jay's gonna have fun with this edit. Whoever this guy is, he's got a whole entourage, including his own cop, and she demands respect. And she's gonna help us out with some exposition too. That's nice. I'd comment on this guy's amazing level of shoulder hair, but you can't get a shot of it without at least 6 naked boobs in the scene. Dude has like a bear rug on each arm. Anyway, this guy is so rich he doesn't even have to smoke his own weed. They just blast the smoke in through the ventilation system. These guys are clearly lightweights. With the prince passed out, it's time to take out the trash. Tian Bing has him in the fireman's carry. Yeah, my JR still sucks. We really gotta get him on this show. They exit, and you could call this Chinese takeout. If you guessed Inspector Lamb was gonna save the day, no screenwriter's credit for you. She takes a blast to the chest.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean, she gets shot in the sternum. On his way out, this guy's like, since you're not going to be busy for a while, mind returning this videotape for me? Selena's in surgery and her cop buddies are standing vigil. There's nothing important about this scene in particular, I just wanted to point out this dude's sweet mullet. He's all cop in the front, party in the back. We then jump over to whatever the hell this is supposed to be. Is it an arcade? A theater lobby? An airport terminal? All of these seem valid. But while we're here, we might as well meet some more characters. This is Dr. Sarah and her cyborg Anne, aka Amy Yip. I like that Amy Yip looks like she's cosplaying a biker Trekkie. I also find myself wondering if Anne's last name is Droid. It's sort of wild that Amy Yip is the more clothed member of this duo. Yip became famous as a Category 3 queen in Hong Kong cinema after appearing in Sex and Zen and Erotic Ghost Story. Despite being a well-known sex symbol, she never appeared fully nude on screen. In fact, she went to great lengths to avoid showing her breasts, a technique that fans christened the Yip tease. While we're here, we get some more exposition. I'm sure that's gonna work out great. I mean, what could go wrong? Oh, wait, maybe this is a game show. I'm getting strong Squid Game vibes here. Live from the Great Mall of China. Oh, wait, it's just a cyborg Barbizon modeling demo. You just know all these companies are trying to make sex bots. That's where the money is. Also, why do we call them sex bots? Wouldn't Hobots make more sense? And now we're up to the talent show portion of the program. Man, this is the worst Terminator ripoff ever. This makes Alienator look like Judgment Day. I mean, with so many wooden and robotic actors out there, you'd think playing a robot would be easy, but nope. Anyway, Budget Bolo here is not convinced that the Borinator can actually fight. Time for Robot Foo. I would assume that anyone who has to wear this outfit in public has a lot of experience throwing hands. This guy has a black belt in the ancient art of Flex Foo. Turns out the Cyborg and Funkmaster Flex aren't the only guys duking it out. This guy's talking some shit too. Nerd fight! And this is the American robot. Totally checks out. Kinda paunchy, and what the fuck is up with that wig? You'd think these two were gonna fight, but instead it's just a dance-off. Dancing queens, young and sweet. I can't sing any more of that or they're gonna claim my video. Not gonna lie, I'd probably attend more Barbizon Mall seminars if they ended with kung fu battles. The American bot is short-circuiting like his name is Johnny Five. But here comes Ultraman? Might be the guy from RoboWar. Copyright laws are very lax in Hong Kong. Hey, that robot has boobs. And of course, it belongs to Dr. Sarah. Great, America's even losing to China on the killer cyborg front. Then the cops arrive to provide some narrative solder.
今朝王子殿下出遊嘅時候，俾個神秘人綁架咗。
And look at this acting.
嚇？咩話？咁點啊？
God damn, I love this movie, you guys. Anyway, the prince has been kidnapped by a Japanese robot scientist. This guy might have been the inspiration for Dr. Robotnik. After a whole lot of jibber-jabber, we learned that the doc is trying to make robots with human thoughts. Let's let Amy Yip break it down for us.
咁呢個機械人就會同時擁有人同埋機械人兩者嘅長處啦。冇錯。
And then Robotnik takes a stab at the whole mind transference thing. You could say it's a pretty gutsy move. Spoiler alert, it worked. The bad news is we've got a renegade replicant running around. The good news is we can use Ultra Woman to stop him. Except...
不過佢咁嘅樣出街咪真係嚇死人。
Don't worry, Inspector. This is a Category 3 film. We can totally sexy her up. Then Amy Yip gives us a peek at her implants.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean, we get to see her cyborg innards. Pretty sure Amy Yip was natural. This feels like a Simpsons episode.
See all that stuff in there, Homer? That's why your robot never worked.
Then it's time for some more exposition. They're gonna put Inspector Lamb's brain into the robot's body. Booyah! All our movies are merging into one. Science! These early VR headsets didn't work very well. Metaverse really sucked. And it worked. Say what you will, but she's way easier on the eyes than Peter Weller. There's a lot more jibber-jabber, but we also see two big reasons why Amy Yip was a star. I will say that I like that they just brought her back from the dead, and yet she still found time to put on lipstick. Meanwhile, our robo-villain is over here getting hit on. After beating up her boyfriend, he takes her back to his place for some sexy time. And his piston is firing on all cylinders if you catch my drift. Dude's like a machine. That night, Officer RoboCop and her beau enjoy some dinner and some music. No, sir, we will not play Freebird. Anyway, all this jibber-jabber leads to some exposition. Her boyfriend is afraid of heights. Wonder if that'll be important later. Oh, cello there. And after the longest sex scene in non-adult film history, we finally get back to the action. I don't know, these ladies look more like a Cantopop girl group than crime fighters. With no leads, the big plan to catch Dr. Robotnik is to let Amy Yip pose as an escort. I'm sure this was a vital plot element and not just another excuse to put her in a tight dress. Needless to say, there's a whole lot of Yip teas happening here. And see, I wasn't kidding about them looking like a girl Cantopop group. We should call them Banana Rama, because RAM and computers. I have no idea how any of this gets them closer to catching Robotnik, but yeah, whatever. Turns out I may have spoken too soon because look who's here. Gotta be honest, I didn't think this robot would be into dance pop. Usually robots are more into metal. Anyway, this is definitely the droid they were looking for, but they're too busy drinking to notice. Then things get weird. You think cyborgs would have a better way to pee? No, really, that's what she's doing. She's emptying out all that alcohol out of her tank. But before she can even wash her hands, Robotnik makes his move. She's not gonna take it though, so she rages against the machine. Missed opportunity not to play Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting on the soundtrack here. Then it turns into a tables, ladders, and chair match. Robotnik eventually snags a car and flees. And he's gonna be tired when he gets to his destination. Because he had a hard drive. I'm just pulling out all the A-level material for this one. Turns out Robotnik's got a tail.
Hell yeah.
No, not that kind of tail. A guy following him. But not for long because he punches him to death. So long, ancillary character we never even knew. And he gives him a stomp for good measure. Shoes look solid, so I guess this is one robot who doesn't need a reboot. I could do this all day. Dr. Sarah must have a degree in bullshit because she floats this stupid idea.
情況之下死亡嘅話，佢死前見到嘅影像會逗留喺視網膜嘅感光細胞。
We need Lance Henriksen to weigh in on this.
That's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard.
I'm with you, Lance. From there, we check in with these guys, who look like they just got done cooking a mean beef Wellington at a Michelin star eatery. They're here to meet up with Robotnik, who's brought the goods in his finest wicker overnight case. But they've got company. Look at these guys, right out in the open, clearly flunked out of ninja school. And Chekhov's acrophobia pays off. Down below, the deal is proceeding, except the wicker basket is emptier than the envelope Clarence gave Drexel to buy Alabama's freedom. You kids even remember True Romance? Christ, I'm old. It's not empty for long, though. Now you can say it's a real head case. Then he punches through this dude like it's Mortal Kombat. And now our robots spring into action. Look at this shit. Now let's play Spot the Stunt Doubles, because neither of these ladies were cut out for the action scenes. Amy Yip's like, let's meet at the bar, as she slams this pole into him. He's not down for that, so he gives her a taste of his pimp hand. I feel like this movie is really barreling towards the final act now. Then they blow him up with this propane. Thanks a lot. The good news is he's now disarmed. Back at the lab, Amy Yip's getting a software upgrade and an oil change. She's looking pretty wired. And she's definitely getting a leg up for her next fight. So many puns. And now Inspector Lamb spills all the tea.
Dr. Sarah, 將我思想轉移到另外機械人度。
Then we get a cameo from the T-800. He's just here to lend a hand. Oh, hey, remember the kidnapped prince? Yeah, he's still in this movie. Don't ask me why. He's about to get drilled good.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean he's literally getting drilled. With a drill. Like that Abel Ferrara movie. Back in the main plot, apparently Joe is now pretending he's a cyborg too. Nice work, Joe. Robotnik is back in action, and his first order of business is to turn Mullet Guy into a hood ornament. I'd say he can mark that one off his to-do list. Later on, Amy Yip goads Robotnik into her trap during a TV interview. I feel like Amy Yip on a television is the best example of the boob tube ever. Angry, he's gonna break into Dr. Sarah's room and, what the hell is this? He's sneaking around like this is Tenchu. And then he kills this cop. Hey man, knife smile. It's all a trap though, so he's gonna break the wall down like he's Chris Jericho.
Break the wall down!
Robotnik then makes a break for it, but every cop in Hong Kong is out here and they have him surrounded. Of course, they're all gonna shoot each other in the crossfire, but whatever. He's not giving up without a fight and tosses some grenades. This is shaping up to be an explosive climax. The cops respond by blasting him full of lead. Like the entire year's ammo budget in one shooting. They put him down, and Amy Yip wasn't fucking around when she said she'd have his head on a platter. They've got questions, but he's not giving up the goods, so they're gonna pump up the volume. Please God, not the Jimmy Buffett. Unfortunately, no one saw Reanimator because Robotnik has control of his body just like Dr. Hill. Back in action, his first move is to get Dr. Sarah. By God, he's got her in the sleeper hold. This match might be over. And another brutal sex scene ensues. The two here feel really out of place with the tone of the rest of this movie, honestly. I can't show it, but it was pretty scandalous for actually showing us his USB connector. The team comes back just in time to save Dr. Sarah from a certain death, but Robotnik's got a flamethrower. The action is getting pretty hot now. Anne and Selena spring into action. Time for more robot foo. And new outfits. It's funny, I don't remember the Power Rangers episodes being so arousing. And don't look now, but this is about to turn into Slumber Party Massacre. You know the drill. Robotnik heads back to his lair, which looks a lot like the place at the start of 13 Ghosts. But before he can finish off the prince, he gets a case of the yips. The Amy Yips. She's setting him up for the pole position. Which makes sense since he has a very magnetic personality. They're gonna dump him in the compactor, but of course there's a snag. If you guess the guy afraid of heights is gonna have to climb up there, give yourself a screenwriter's credit. They eventually get it unstuck and drop him in the compactor. Looks like someone's about to experience their very first crush. Just not in the way you anticipated. Diplomatic immunity has just been revoked. That's almost as much fun to say as this was no boating accident. Say what you will about that dude, but in the end, he was pretty scrappy. And it's a happy ending because even Inspector Lamb is alive. I wonder if she has an off switch. Might be a good time to find out. So, what have we learned from Robotrix? Well, for starters, only Hong Kong can make a female RoboCop movie that mixes sci-fi, sex, and violence like this. Robotrix is one of my favorite Category 3 films because it's just so bonkers tonally. Like so many other Hong Kong films, it blends all these weird subgenres together into a crazy concoction that doesn't always make sense, but is almost always super entertaining. This one is no exception. But enough about that. Can Robotrix spill enough blood to earn a 5 barf bag rating? Let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, Robotrix mostly delivers. We've got punch through bodies, mangled limbs, one mouth stabbing, death by car, a drilling, and a decapitation. The gore is not the main focus here, but there's more than enough to justify a respectable 3 barf bag rating. Robotrix is a sick and entertaining flick. Looking for another gender-swapped riff on a popular sci-fi film? Then be sure to check out my review of Alienator. You'll find a link here on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.